Hello everybody. Brian here, quantlabs.net. It is 11:09 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, December 22nd. So what I'm going to show you are this. So over here we've got our new website, quant-labs.net. Join our email list, get on our daily newsletter, know what's going on with what we're pointing out. Ooh, yes. All right, so we're going to talk about the mainstream markets, and this is the fun stuff of what I do. So I'm always using Yahoo Finance to do the check-in on the overall markets and compare it to crypto. So this is a pretty good snapshot that Yahoo Finance has got. So it's over here, finance.yahoo.com. Things are barely green here. S&P futures, Dow futures, NASDAQ futures, Russell 2000 futures, crude oil up a little bit. Gold is up a little bit. Gold should be down, as you know. We've talked about that. Then the Forex, the silver's all up. Bonds are down. Forex is all over the place. And then we get into the world of crypto. It's all down. International FTSE's up. And the Nikkei's up, which is good, but let's go over what I'm seeing in the fun charts on MotoWave. Always remember, MotoWave I consider is one of the best platforms out there. So we got our excellent score here, and I'm going to go through the trends that I want to look for. So first off, we got Canada Japanese Yen. I like to look at monthly versus the intraday over the last, you can see here we go all the way back to October 27th. So that's about 2 months, close to 2 months, and the monthly chart. So I've been going on about this. This is a typical pattern in all Forex for the last, in this case, 15 years, 16 years. So this is Oanda data. As I keep saying, the charts never, ever, ever freaking lie. So a typical pattern moves up, peak, everything's looking good on the currency state, and then along comes 2008, drops back. A lot of this will go into either a further decline or go range bound and flat ever since. So a lot of the overall stuff that you see in the currencies is not really a good place to be, with the exception of the exotics like the Rand and the Turkish Lira, depending upon how you want to look at it. So here you can see the Canadian Swiss franc is in decline. Again, monthly views important. Okay, so this one goes all the way back to 2005 again, same trend, peaking. This one goes same, decline, flat. Again, you're not going to make a lot of money. This is because of the debt, has a huge impact on currencies and the value of currencies. Now, let's look at some of the markets here. So here we have the UK 100. You can see it's very range bound, very, very volatile, all the way back again to October 24th. But when you look at the monthly view here, since the global sickness, you would expect the rebound in the British markets and the FTSE would rebound a lot. You'll see some US ones and they're better. They are better than the US. So it's all about returns, about where you're getting your cash. Here USD Canada is not bad. There's a nice steady trend up. So I can work with that. But again, look at what's going on. Here, this is not so bad in the Canadian dollar, and this can also be said with the British pound. Again, going back in this case to 2001, that solid decline go flat, it sort of trends up here to 2015, and then it stabilizes, okay? So you'll see some other pairs that are not quite like that. So you can see here with the USD Norway, that's another oil trade, no different than the USD Canada. These are oil currencies. So you can see the nice trend here, again, a couple of months back. But again, when you look at the monthly view here, look what's going on. It's a trend up. Again, I'm not going to complain about that. There's other places to go. USD Sweden, same thing. These are Scandinavian currencies, so they got a cleaner balance sheet than in a lot of other countries. You can see trend up, flat, monthly view, trending up, but very, very, you're going from 6.5 to 10 over the last 15 years. Now let's take a look at gold. gold is really not performing as well as you think it should. I've talked about what to look for. Gold in Australian dollars, a little bit of a rally, gone flat again. Monthly view, it has rallied, and that right there, that rally over January 2019 up till here in the peak here of July 2020, back down and flat again. So this is not a bad trend, going from 1,000 to 2,750, but again, that's over what, 12 years. So you could get way better returns just alone in crypto. So again, gold in this case, Canadian dollar, same pattern. Usually these patterns are very universal. Doesn't matter what exchange, what currency you're in. You can see that with the Canadian, the euro. Euro is the absolute worst currency out there right now, and similar to gold in euro. Now, if you look at the Asian, like Hong Kong dollar, similar pattern. Well, it's not similar, but it's been very flat for what, 6-7 years. No thanks. People would think that Singapore is a great place to go as well. It ain't. Check this out. Same pattern as Hong Kong. So that's pretty well, you could kind of probably say that about the overall space of Asia. And here you have other currencies, but the thing is, US dollar ain't one of them, because people don't want to hold the US dollar. And I keep saying the US dollar's at its lowest participation rate of holding US dollar. It's at the lowest level since 1974, and that's because, yet again, those pesky little Democrats, they want to spend like $6.5 trillion like it's nothing, and expect not to impact the economy or the US dollar. So here, let's start looking at some comparative other international markets. Here's the Australian 200, very flat, range bound from 71.50 up to 74.50, and again, that's over the last 2 months. If you're going to make money and stuff, you want to see trend. This is a good trend as well, okay? And what really matters, since this drop off last year because of the global sickness, you want a really nice trend where it really accelerates. Example of that is Taiwan. So here's again Euro 50. You know, Germany's not the best. It's very flat. And this is the Euro top 50. So a lot of these currencies I could blow through, but there's the exception. Euro Hungary is one over a monthly, fairly nice trend. Okay, so they're doing something right in Hungary, and it's starting to accelerate, as you can see there. A few pullbacks, but not much compared to the other ones that I could probably show you, like the Rand, or, well, Turkish lira, I'm sure you already know about if you're smart. Now here's the number one currency pair in the world by volume. Look at this monthly chart here. Peak here, again, 2007, drops back with that financial crisis, and it's been in decline since. I don't make this up, it's the charts, folks. Okay, let's start looking at the German Bund 10-year. Really, to get a proper snapshot, you want to get the monthly view. So this goes back again, 2004, start to increase, flatten out since here of pretty well the beginning of last year. Hong Kong 33, this is not a strong performer. Again, trending up, okay, but it's about being in the best. Now, India's done very well recently. It has been in a decline, but when you look at this monthly view, look at that. And remember what I said about the steepness of that curve? India's done very, very well. Comparative, in line with the U.S., has had a pullback based upon how they handle the global sickness. I'm sure that trend will continue. If I was to show you Taiwan would easily be number one. And with the stable, well, if it comes up, I don't think it will, but I'll show you separately. But Taiwan, because of China influence, that's a big, big factor. Netherlands, again, another market here. This one's done not bad. You can see that steepness? been scathed by that global sickness. Has gone flat a little bit, and a nice big bar to give it in the full recovery, and off it goes. So that's been doing pretty good. That's the Netherlands 25. Okay, let's look at the 10-year British gilt. Again, flat here. Monthly view, choppy, moving up. Hard to trade. All right, so the Russell, let's check out that. Russell 2000 has been in decline since mid-November. 1 month chart. See, here's a pretty good steep of that curve since the pandemic, but it's been very flat since around here in April. No trend at all. So let's see here. What else we got? 30-year trend in the Treasury. Very range bound. Again here, choppy, trend up. I don't know. But when you start to see these pullbacks, this is when the concern sets in. China, USD China, very flat, going nowhere. Now, this is important because everyone wants to know about China. Look at this peak run up till 2020 and just fallen off, going all the way back to the same point as roughly April 1st, 2018. So that's where it's at now. That's the USD China Yuan. And again, here's a decent little currency to own. USD Hungary. Let's check that out again. Monthly view. Pretty good. I think the Euro Hungary is probably the better one because it's a lot more steady, but the trend is there. What else we got? 2-year Treasury decline, flat now. Monthly view. Just look at that big drop off here from 2016 to 2018. Did rally back, and now it's starting to drop back again. This is all performance of the overall, obviously, U.S. economy. Why bother put money into 2-year when you could pilot into the U.S. markets? USD Hong Kong dollar. I'm not sure if I've shown this. That's had a good steady trend since November, late October. So that's pretty good. Monthly view though, as it loads up here. Anyways, it doesn't matter. It's not that great. There you go. So it's starting to rally. So we could go up to here, but don't think long term that it's something to hold. So if you go back to 2017, look good. You can see that big rally there since January of this year. So again, this is what I like about Hong Kong. The Hong Kong dollar is definitely strengthening. We've already looked at these. Natural gas. Look at this. You hear about inflation, but if there was inflation, why has this dropped? This is natural gas. Why has this dropped since October 27th? Please explain that to me. Where's the inflation? Where is the inflation? Well, again, I put out a separate video on this. If the world melted down, this is a place to go. It's in agriculture. What we see here has been no inflation whatsoever until just recently, April, and up it goes. The volumes start to die off, so maybe that might start to decline as well. But this is wheat, and this is what I'm saying. Agriculture would be a place to go if things started to fall off. Okay, we got Canadian, New Zealand. So here's one rare instance of a currency being held in U.S. dollar. Another common one I do see is the Australian and USD. Look at that. That's strengthening for the U.S. dollar, weakening of the New Zealand. Okay, so monthly view here. This is the cleanest shirt, the U.S. dollar, but it's been very flat. But the good thing is it's been sort of stable since 2009. In my mind, to be honest, if I was to play currencies, I just like the look of that Hungarian huff. I don't know the name of the currency. Sorry, I'm not Hungarian. Okay, copper's another good one of how early input for production, for manufacturing, had that rally, started to rally and drop off here. We got volume there. This is an inflation trade. This is hot capital, but it's starting to taper off, as you can see there, flattening out because of this new variant, which is greatly impacting manufacturing. But this is usually the first one you look for to see how the overall economy is going to turn around. I've also talked about the gold-silver ratio. Not sure if that's in here, but I do have videos on that on my channel. And again, this is a good one as well. The Australian, New Zealand, that relationship between the two countries, flat. But again, this is the typical peaks here. This case, again, Australia, New Zealand, peaks here in 2011, drops back, goes flat. No thanks. France is another comparison for current for a market. Really good trend there up until November 18th. Everything goes kind of volatile, range bound, really hard to trade in those conditions. How does it look long term? Still, that trend's there. That's pretty good actually for France. Very little signs of it flattening out or even showing any form of decline. Now here's another one, pound against the US dollar, same as the New Zealand. Yeah, with the Western countries, I do find that the patterns are very similar. Peaks again around 2007, drops back, starts to decline. Not a good story. Let's see here, USD Japanese Yen, again range bound, 1 month. So here's what I was talking about, the stability in the currency for the yen. That's a good sign, okay, compared to the ones I've already shown. USD Swiss franc, which should be the same pattern as the yen. Very flat here over the last couple of months. But you can see it's been declining and then flat, and that goes all the way back to January 2001. Okay, let's look at some gold here in Australia. Bit of a rally here up until November 18th, gone flat. That shouldn't be the case. Gold should be moving up, as like here, and that was during the, yeah, so there's a lead up here into 2020. So right here somewhere, so let's say the pandemic, the global sickness started here, December 2019, and then last year spiked a little bit, and then it dropped back, and then it's starting to spike again a little bit. Gold, yet once again in euro, really kind of range bound, really hard to trade. You can throw as much leverage as you want. You won't get a lot of performance with it, but look at this. Gold and euro has been flat again between, as I said, between 2013, 2019. Let's pile on the debt worldwide. Rally with the global sickness, drops back and then starts to climb back again. Okay, I could go on and on with these Western and Asian based currencies. So again, this is the one I want people to understand. This is the only reliable indicator out there for when you get classic turning points in the markets globally. You can see it's been very flat. Gold silver ratio very flat up until November 21st. Climbs, starting to decline again because supposedly I guess things are improving. But what matters is, as I keep saying, the monthly view. We went back here, 2006, that big financial crisis, a little spike really, drops back, and then it starts to move up again. Why? It's just moving up between 2011 to about here in, let's say, January 2020, and boom, this is risk in the market building as more and more leverage is added into the markets, more and more national debts being added to it, which kills off productivity, economic performance, and the answer to trying to produce by throwing money via central banks doesn't work. It's quite clear here. Along comes the global sickness, spikes, which is pretty high, drops back down as it should in the response, and now it's starting to climb again. So that's what matters. And this is very reliable in my mind. Okay, silver in British pound. Check this out. Big decline starting to move up again. Again, gold is not much different than from silver with gold. Similar pattern. I could go on and on about it. We talked about the Australia 2000. France we looked at. You're not seeing the NASDAQ or the S&P here in the top picks. Again, I stop at the score of very good. Not much here. We've already looked at it. Okay, let's look at this one. Here's one of the exotics. Check this out. Very flat lately, but again, look at the 1 month chart. Boom. Lots of choppiness here, but it's trending up. Again, this is Euro and the Rand. It's similar to Hungary, but Hungary's a little more stable in the price moves here, month to month. So that's where I'd rather be. Let's look at Japan 225. Again, range bound, very volatile moves here. Monthly chart, nice trend up. This one's not so bad, but the steepness of that curve is just not there. Continuing along. Nothing new here. We've looked at these. Poland, another one. You think the Eastern European's great. I've mentioned this many times. Kind of range bound, a little bit of a rally here between November 10th to the 21st. That monthly view, it is trending up. Choppiness, doesn't excite me as much. Thai bot is another one. Rally again. It's all built around the global sickness and tourism dollars, obviously, what affects the overall performance. But this was a nice little rally here through the year. Again, this is USD and Thai bot as well. So, as I say in Australia, good on ya. So we got all the different treasury maturity dates. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's look at oil. Oil, WTI, okay. Declining, gone flat. That's since November 10th, the peak from $85 down to a low of 67. So again, that is 87, about $83 there. November 10th drops back to 67 and stayed flat. Again, where's the inflation trade? Where's the inflation? Again, monthly chart has the inflation was definitely there in the oil price, but it's dropped back a little bit, but peaked 2 months ago. May start to climb again. I don't know. But definitely natural gas is another one. Solid decline, very flat. I've shown that earlier. Corn, I'm not sure if I've shown, but there's the bit of a rally. So this is probably where the inflation kind of was and was definitely there up until May, April, and then started dropping back. Started to bounce around here for the last 3 months. So again, that's not a sign of inflation as what we're supposed to see. It's all logistics. That's where the inflation is, and also in processing of raw material, food, oil. That's where I think the inflation is, because of shortage of labor. Still looking for anything unique here. Okay, copper we looked at. Okay, last one, platinum here. Boom, flat. Not much going on. Really, I don't know what to tell you here. Okay, let's look at a couple of other ones for comparison. This has been the trade of the year in this world of currency, USD, Turkish lira. Now, if you're not on my chat server, what's happening here? This is a monthly chart. Let's look at the daily. You can see here that the Turkish lira did spike. All of a sudden, it just majorly dropped off for the last few days. What's going on here is the Japanese apparently are flooding and buying up a lot of the lira, and it's stabilized and actually improved the situation. So it's pulling back potentially. That's a daily. When you look at the monthly, you can see that sort of big drop there. It's Japanese buyers soaking that up. So there is that. And as I said, let's start looking at the responses of steepness of curve for the U.S. Number one, let's look at the S&P SPX 500. Okay, you can see there's a nice steady trend up. That's a 2-week chart, pulling back again. But let's compare. 1 month, pretty steady and non-stop. That's on the S&P. Okay, you could probably say the same thing about NASDAQ as well. That's all fine and good. Here's NASDAQ, very similar. But for comparative purposes, let's bring up the one I think is pretty good is Taiwan. You can see how this is a little steeper than both S&P and NASDAQ. So here, it just moved up faster, bigger bar moves here over each month until here in March of this year, and then of course the saber rattling, thanks to China, flattened it all out. So will it go up? Little, I started to see some of the big bars in the last month, so that might be an interesting one to go back into as long as China does not talk about this stuff. Okay, all right. So there you go. You've got the different synopsis of different charts here. Oh, let me get that back. So you got that there. So that's pretty well how it lines up here for December 22nd, 11:30 p.m. Where do I think money will go? I think with the U.S., there's some catalysts forming with the concern of the next infrastructure package. But to be safe, I've already mentioned I like the Hong Kong dollars looking pretty good. Some of the agricultural, but that can drop off pretty quick. I would have continued to say definitely Turkish lira as well. India I still like. Let's look at that. Hungary looks to be a nice steady little rally nonstop. And then there's India as well. So interesting places to go. Just thought I'd put that out there. If you like what you see, quantlabs.net/contact. Sorry, quant-labs.net/contact as well. Lastly, the Shopify store is back. quantlabs.shop. Check it out. There will be some more modifications coming. Anything you want, let me know. And we'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching. Oh, and there is the quantlabs.shop and the contact form as I mentioned earlier. Have a good day. Later. Bye.